and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us tonight for the most chaotic wrestling review show in the multiverse. This is All For. You're muted. ALW? Did you are you frozen? Oh, they'll be right back. Technical difficulties. Come for the wrestling, stay for the chaos. We'll do the tagline as soon as he gets back. I will stall for time. I will say I am looking forward to Crown Jewel this weekend, Saturday at like what 1 p.m., noon, 2 p.m., something like that. It's somewhere around that time period. It depends on what your time zone is, but we're gonna be uh, watching that live. So come and join us for the live watch along. Uh, Say hello to the kitty. Say hi, kitty. Oh, doing this live, we're off to a great start. um, Let me just look up real quick here. All right, let's talk about Crown Jewel. We got Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough. Uh, I'm looking forward to Sammy pulling the win, but you never know. Judgment Day, after all. Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Although I'd love for Drew McIntyre to win, it'd probably make more sense for him to win. Word is that he has not signed a new contract, so probably going to be Seth Rollins, unfortunately. We got the Fatal Five-Way match for the Women's World Championship. I'm putting my money on Rhea Ripley. I give her like an 80% chance of winning. That's 20% for the other four of any of them winning. I give that 20%. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus LA Knight. Yeah. Um, as much as I love LA Knight, yeah. Um, Gonna have to go with Roman on that. We got Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. And honestly, I could see them giving it to Logan here. Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Honestly, it wouldn't hurt either one of them to lose. I feel, but me personally, I'd probably go with Damian Priest. John Cena versus Solo Sikoa in what may be one of, if not John Cena's last matches. Hurts me a bit to say that, but um, yeah. Also, I feel like this one could go either way, but it's John Cena and it's Crown Jewel, so I feel like they're gonna go with Cena on this. If it was in the States, I would probably go with Solo Sikoa. And for the women's championship, Io Sky with Damage Control versus Bianca Belair.
Sweet.
Which I also don't know about that one. I'd go with Io Sky. Welcome back.
Yes, I guess for the moment. Yep. See
Audio's
how?
weird, but I can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on my phone. My microphone doesn't
Uh,
really work on my phone. I mean, I got it to kind of work, but I don't know. My I
um,
have currently have no
it's no
internet on my
problem.
phone.
I can hear you fine. It's just I was like, oh, audio's weird. It's because you're not on your microphone.
Yep, I apparently have no internet on my laptop for whatever reason. So, oh, now it decides to pop up. Of course. So, you were talking
Bless
about
you.
Crown Jewel.
I was just talking about Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
Stalling
hold
for
on for a
time.
second.
uh, all alone again.
Let's try this again. How's that?
Oh, welcome back.
All right, here we go. Fucking A. Let's hope that the internet holds up. So you were talking about Crown Jewel. How
This
far did you
is all for
NAWT? Not.
not.
All right. So as normal, come for the wrestling, stay for the chaos. It would not be the nightmares or not if there wasn't some sort of technical difficulty. So as usual, we're here on Wednesday night, but we are live instead of recorded. So you're actually getting us live at 7:15, well, now 7:20 Pacific Standard Time, or 9:20 Central Time, or 10:20 Eastern Time. So this is going to be a permanent switch. Uh, we were pre-recording it because it's whatever, we could do it at whatever time we wanted to, and then put it out. But the requirements on StreamYard make it easier to just do it live. So I think we're going to be here live from now on Wednesday nights doing this. So, did you want to finish talking about Crown Jewel since you started, or do you want to just go into Raw?
I did finish.
Oh, you did finish. Okay. Well, then, let's go into Raw. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Somewhere in here, there's a Raw background. So there's Raw. So let's see. This week's Raw opened with Rhea Ripley and her music. She came out with Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough. So I guess my very, very, very first question is JD McDonough, um, oh, sorry, my bad. Is JD McDonough now an actual official, or is he still earning his way? Because he came out and acted almost like an official part, and she kind of treats him like an official part, but I'm not totally sure.
I don't think they know, and I think at the very least they're wanting to get through Crown Jewel before anything like substantial actually. His match with Sami Zayn could be the defining factor.
That makes sense. I could see that.
But if he's not getting help in that match, I can't see him beating Sami Zayn at all.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Uh, so, of course, as usual, they're, during the Judgment Day, while the Judgment Day's in the ring talking shit or touting their recent success, Sami Zayn comes down to interrupt them and starts talking.
Kills it on the mic.
Yeah, he
Kills
does.
it.
He does. How he's been fighting people like them his entire life. And then Ricochet came down to join, and this ultimately led into Ricochet and Dominic's scheduled match. I mean, there was punching and fighting. That's when Ricochet came down to kind of help Sammy, and ultimately, you know, it ended in the way it did. And like it does, it led into Dominic and Ricochet's singles match. What did you think of this interaction to start the show? Are you getting tired of the Judgment Day and these guys starting every Raw?
I'm well. They don't start every Raw, but it happens one of two ways. Either they're starting or they interrupt the person who started.
Right. Well, I mean, okay. So let me rephrase that. Are you tired of seeing the Judgment Day vortex ultimately starting every Raw? I mean, if it's
I'm
not
sort of
them,
numb to it, and I'm also like I don't mind too much because like it's a pretty good vortex to be in. Like
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
the
Like,
problem I have is I want different people in the vortex with them.
I mean, I like the Judgment Day, but I don't know that they're strong enough to be as much of a face of the company as it feels like WWE wants them to be. I mean, they were in almost every segment of this Raw. I mean, in
This is
some way,
all
shape,
leading.
or form.
This is all leading to Survivor Series. So
Okay,
after the blow off at Survivor Series, we should be seeing a new chapter in Raw, and
okay,
I'm hoping that'll be a good chapter
okay. I'm holding you to
because
that.
then we lead into setting up for Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
Okay, I'll hold you to that.
Like
I sure hope so. We'll see.
Survivor Series is the midway point, so they're not going to be doing any changes until Survivor Series is over.
That
Like
makes sense.
we have to just accept that that's the way that it's going to be. Like after Survivor Series, we can see something new, but not until after then.
Uh, what do you think of Ricochet and Dominic Mysterio's match?
It was fine. Ricochet's really good. I mean, I like Will Ospreay better, but is what it is.
I mean,
Uh,
I didn't know that was the conversation, but sure. Yeah, I mean, I
well,
don't think
Seth
most
Rollins
people.
started that conversation in 2019, didn't he?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I mean, yes. Uh, I think most people think Will Ospreay is better than Ricochet. I thought the match was
Seth
okay.
Rollins
I
said
mean,
that we have the better you. His name's Ricochet.
yeah, that's clearly not true. Um, that's not to take anything away from Ricochet. At the same
Oh
time,
no,
like
Will Ospreay's
there,
like
there.
best in the world.
Yeah,
Best
I
in
mean,
the world.
there's
Like,
only one Will Ospreay, right? I mean, so it is what it is. I thought the match was okay. I mean, I they both have decent match. I mean, they both can wrestle. I mean, Dominic's getting better, and Ricochet's a really good wrestler.
hmm
So Ricochet carried him a little bit in the ring. I thought Ricochet had the most of the offense in the match, which he probably should because Dominic's still winning. The kick to the back of the head that led to the 619 was really the drop kick to the back of the head. Was really not didn't look very good from Dominic. He's still
Dominic
got a
has only been doing this for 3 years. He's like 24. Like, yeah, he's going to get better, and he's gotten a lot better since he first
yeah,
joined
and then I
Judgment Day, let
wonder.
alone first started.
He has gotten better since he first started. I start to wonder at some point where, some people are naturally attuned to things and some aren't. I mean, and this is a very athletic endeavor, and so I think people that are more athletic have an easier time probably adjusting to it. I mean, Logan Paul's had what 5 matches in his whole career, uh, and looked better in his first match than Dom's ever looked in any matches, just because he's more athletic, he's more fluid, he moves better. But that's an athletic thing, I think. So I think he comes across, he looks better when he's doing his stuff in the ring. I wonder, I think that I enjoy Moose a lot. I think Moose plateaued a couple years ago and hasn't gotten any better. And he may have regressed a little bit. And I'm concerned that we're starting to almost see a little bit of a plateau with Dominic Mysterio. I mean, yeah, he's a lot younger than Moose and whatever, and he's still got a lot of growing to do. But it almost feels like we're kind of at a plateau and he's not getting what I see is looking any better, really. Sometimes he looks worse. Um, but I didn't think he looked terrible here. And Ricochet's good and can carry a match. So, I mean, it was what it was. Um, with Rhea's help, Dom got the win. Um, so, yeah, I mean, okay. Uh, are they still, in your opinion, piping in the Dominic booze?
I wasn't paying as close attention to it.
Yeah. This was a Halloween Raw, so we naturally have, Halloween stuff going on. We're going to have a trick or street fight down the road here. But next we had Alpha Academy versus Creed Brothers. I thought that they did a really. I enjoyed this Raw. I thought this Raw, I think if I'm not mistaken, had 3 tag team matches on it, which I thought was good. And the tag team division is looking strong at the moment. So, as Sammy always says, that right now the WWE tag team division is strong. And this match was really good. I thought Alpha Academy versus Creed Brothers was really good. Um, it was fun. What do you think of it?
Um, I didn't expect the Creed brothers to win.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, but I mean, this was their Raw debut or main roster debut. So they could have taken the loss, and at the same time, I thought they looked good in winning, and it just further solidifies what I already knew, which is really unfortunate. Which is that Alpha Academy is supposed to be decent jobbers. I mean, that's what they are. That's what they're always going to be. Chad Gable and Otis are just not ever going to get to that point where they're actually taken seriously as top tier talent. And here it shows that he had that nice little pseudo storyline for the title with Gunther and had a
I
couple good matches. I really enjoyed it.
I
Um,
think that they actually made a big mistake.
by not putting the belt on Chad.
No,
No.
by the Creed brothers winning.
Okay. Explain.
I I feel like the Creed brothers should have lost, and then Chad Gable, gives the handshake to, pick them up and everything, and invite them to for Diamond Mine to join the Alpha Academy and to
Oh,
become better and better. I
right.
felt like they would have been
Yeah.
able to play well with Tozawa and Otis and everything.
I definitely wouldn't mind seeing the Creed brothers as part of Alpha Academy. I could see that. Which I suppose even with the Creeds winning here, we can still get there eventually.
Well, why would they want to learn from someone who they've beaten?
Yeah. No,
Beat
I
on
mean
their debut.
I suppose that's probably true. But WWE's done weirder stuff. But yeah, I mean, I hadn't really thought
Hmm.
about that. But I mean, I do like that. I thought the Creed brothers looked good here, beating the Alpha Academy. And if you're going to try to make them, as one of your premier tag teams, then I thought that they did a good job of that here. I thought that that's what they were going to do with the Alpha Academy, but clearly not because the Creed brothers won here. So uh, then we had a package where about DIY being reunited for their match later this evening.
And it feels so good.
Let's see. Do-do-do-do. We had then that obviously led into DIY versus Imperium. Actually, first we had the Miz host an episode of Miz TV, where he called out Gunther and Gunther didn't come. He called him out a second time. Gunther didn't come, and then Imperium came out and basically said Gunther doesn't come just because you ask him to come. He comes when he wants to come. And I know I just said Gunther and coming a
That's
lot of
what she
times, so
said.
so, but this ultimately led into um, Miz and Gunther getting into it and a breakdown, which ultimately led to the match, which was DIY versus Imperium. What do you think of it? Okay? Let me ask you this: Are you at all interested in seeing the Miz versus Gunther for the IC title? Does that move the needle for you at all?
Yes. Not as
Okay.
much as Gunther versus Randy Orton would, but
Do you think that's what we're gonna get? You think that's where this is
um
ultimately leading?
Survivor Series? Sure, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, I don't think at this point in his career, the Miz should probably be beating Gunther, but I'm a huge Miz fan, so I definitely
Oh, oh,
would
oh.
love to see him
I
get an opportunity.
I have my money on Gunther versus Miz at Survivor Series. Randy Orton returns and issues the challenge to Gunther going forward.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
And that way we
Uh,
keep Orton out of the world title picture.
yeah,
Although Now that I say that, they could just as easily have Orton be the dude taking the belt off of Rollins.
Yeah, they could, but I don't know. I think Drew McIntyre's beating Rollins at Crown Royal Jewel, Saudi Blood Money, whatever you want to call it. Um,
Not if he isn't re-signing his contract. I don't think
yeah,
so.
well, I guess we'll know, right? If Drew wins, he resigned, and if he didn't, then he didn't. Right? So I guess that's one way we'll know. Um, so, but this ultimately led into once Miz and Miz and Gunther got out of the way, it led to DIY versus Imperium.
Gunther
DIY,
telling Miz that Miz is everything that's wrong with this business.
right? Yeah. No, I mean Gunther had a couple good lines, and he laughed at Miz when Miz, talked about how he was the the greatest Intercontinental Champion ever, or not. Basically said that, and how he had been, when he won his first title and blah blah blah. And to be fair, I mean at this point in his career, he is more decorated than Gunther. He's held that belt a few times. He's been world champion. So yeah, I mean he's got at the moment he has scoreboard and he can I've got more championships than you. So, and he's got seniority to a certain extent in WWE. So I mean I like it. Everything that Miz does, I think he does well. And even though I don't think he poses the biggest threat to Gunther, I think they'll have a good feud if that's where it ends up going. um but those two ultimately ended up leaving the ring, and we had DIY versus Imperium. DIY got the win with their, famous double team finisher. I'm not sure what they actually call it, but where they kind of meet in the middle of the ring and bash the dude's head in between their knees. I guess it's their knees, right? Or one does a knee and
Um,
one does something else.
I had a quick question.
Yes, ask away.
Survivor Series 2019. Gunther was the first competitor eliminated. He was eliminated by, was it Drew McIntyre or was it Randy Orton?
That's a really good question. I couldn't tell you that without looking it up. I have no clue.
Okay, I
I
figured
didn't
I'd
even
ask
remember
you
that
if
he
you look
was
at
the
the
first
numbers.
guy eliminated from Survivor Series. Let alone if you hadn't said Gunther was in the 2019 Survivor Series and just said who was in the 2019 Survivor Series, I couldn't have told you Gunther was even in it. So not without looking it up. So
The last two was Keith Lee and Roman Reigns.
okay, yeah. See, I don't even really remember that. I'd have to watch that again. I mean, I watched it at the time, but I don't really even remember that. So it's fun to see DIY back together.
Oh yes.
Vinci took the pin. There seems to be some discrepancy, some kind of dissension and issues between Vinci and Kaiser. They're kind of infighting. Gunther's not happy with either of them at the moment. Uh, Kaiser's trying to flex over Vinci and be like, I'm the Gunther's. Well, he says it. Gunther's not, and then when he's not there, I'm in charge or something. He said something to that effect. So, and Vinci didn't like it. And then Vinci said something, and who was it? Was it the Miz? I think it was the Miz. It says, "Oh my God, he talks." So clearly we don't hear Vinci talk all that often, and so. But yeah, DIY got the win. It's good to see DIY back together again. They should be getting the win over Vinci. They're a premier tag team, and I think Imperium is kind of. I think Imperium is on the level of um, what we call it, Alpha Academy. I think they're in the minds of the bookers. I think they see Gunther as their obviously a main event guy, but I don't think Vinci or Kaiser in their minds, that tag team, they're more of a B level kind of jobber. They're there to take the losses, but look decent in taking losses, right? So, um,
That yeah, they were like one of the top players in NXT, but on the main roster, they're a mid player. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let's
Uh,
see.
DIY should not be treated that way, though, I will say. Like, if
I
you're
agree.
bringing DIY back, like, I see them being the next world champions.
Yeah,
Like, pure and simple. Like
I
I
agree.
don't like New Day is more accomplished and everything, but like I would put them up near that level of
I mean, they definitely have the
the,
ability to be up at that level,
how good they are, their cohesiveness.
right? Yeah, they just need the booking and the push from the powers that be. I mean, I think they both have the talent. We know that, right? I mean, Ciampa and
Hmm.
Gargano are both great wrestlers together. DIY is a lot of fun. We saw them as champions in NXT, so we know that they can do it. And yeah, I mean, I think they're perfect for the roster, and I think they'd be great against Judgment Day for the titles or for whoever's got the titles whenever that time comes around. I mean, they're definitely on that level for sure, no doubt about it. Our
Like
next match, go
I
ahead.
think that they break into my top 5 tag teams.
Currently, right now, yeah, top 5 current WWE tag teams. They're probably there. I mean, I'd have to sit down with the
Well,
the list of tag teams and think about it. But yeah, I mean, they probably worked their way into it now. Obviously, now that they're back, and yeah,
since the Usos are broken up, technically,
right,
I guess they would be in my top 3, maybe. Oh,
interesting. Yeah. So then we got Xia Li versus Candice LeRae, and as was after she attacked Candice LeRae last week. Um, it looked like I mean, Xia Li was all over Candice LeRae, and then she kicked her in the head, and the ref called for the bell, citing that Candice LeRae was actually hurt. I don't know if this was legitimate or if this was a shoot or a work. What do you think here? I mean, what do you think was happening here?
um, hmm,
You think they're just
I
trying to
don't
make
know.
Xia Li look super badass, or you think that Candice LeRae actually suffered an injury?
I mean, women have gotten hurt in Xylee matches before, like Mercedes Martinez.
Uh huh.
She got her nose broken, right?
Oh, really? Oh, I was unaware of that.
Like
So
Xylee's like
interesting.
actually a martial artist, so like
Okay, and has a
easy to get
history
yourself
of
hurt.
being yeah.
Not intentionally, but
Uh,
like if a kick connects, that kick's gonna hurt.
sure, sure. Uh, let's see. Then we had Seth Rollins versus JD McDonough. Well, we got a special video package highlighting Drew McIntyre before Seth danced his way to the ring against McDonough. The Visionary gave a long promo about his upcoming match. Um, okay. Uh, this match was really good, honestly. Um, Seth and JD can both wrestle. And I enjoyed this a lot. I thought this may have been match of the night, or it's right up there. It was in contention for match of the night. I enjoyed this a lot. What do you think of this
Like
segment, Seth and D?
um, I felt positive about it, but also like I'm getting a bit tired of Seth, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I feel like he needs to go take care of his back and come back, and like I'll be more positive about him after some time off.
yeah. And honestly, for me, like he needs to reinvent himself. His character right now is just super annoying, in my opinion. He needs to
Well,
do something different.
it has been annoying, but like the
Yeah,
fans love him.
yeah.
Like
Um, Did you think when Damian Priest came down that he was going to actually try to cash in at the spot, or you think this was
no,
just
no.
help McDonough fuck up, just fuck with Seth type of situation?
He was trying to show support to JD, which of the last month or two, he has not been.
You think that was
So we're
upon
saying
Rhea's instruction or suggestion? Hey, Damian, go down there and take a briefcase in the ref and see if we can get JD a win over
maybe.
Seth. So Seth Rollins does get the win over JD McDonough. Um, and yeah, I thought it was a good match. Let's see. They had a video package. Oh no, let's see. Oh, we got Natalia versus Chelsea Green in the trick street fight or treat or street fight, whatever it is, whatever they call it. Trick or
Wasn't
treat
the
street fight.
I think the Becky Lynch thing was before this, wasn't it?
Let's see here. Maybe I'm looking in the notes here and I don't see it. I remember the Becky Lynch thing. I just don't remember when it happened during the show. Um,
Okay. Um,
so But go ahead and talk about it. We can talk about it right now, and then we'll go from there. I mean, we'll pretend like
Uh,
it happened right here because I don't know.
she bragged that she was a more active champion for the NXT title in like the 2 months that she held it than Roman Reigns and Rhea Ripley have been with their titles the entire year.
Yes, yeah, she had it was an interesting promo. She looked a little dejected and a little down. Uh, but she also mentioned that if she was going to lose the NXT belt, she was happy that she lost it to Lyra Valkyria, who she, is a fellow countrywoman and a fellow countrywoman, I think so. And that, yeah, because they made a big deal about how it was two Irish women going for the title. So, yeah, I mean, I thought it was okay. And those comments are definitely funny. And she's right. She did defend it more than Roman Reigns. And yeah, so um, but then we got Chelsea Green and Natalia in the Trick or Treat Street Fight, which we do every year, or which we get, I guess, on Halloween every year. Um, this was okay. I mean, it was,
Um,
Chelsea got the win. What'd you think?
talk about the outfits they were wearing.
Let's see here. I'm trying to remember. Piper Niven had what looked like a Joker face mask on when she came to, or not a mask, but like a almost like a Joker face smile on. Um, what was Chelsea Green dressed as? I'm trying to remember now. Geez, I don't remember. Tell them if you remember, because I'm drawing a blank.
They were dressed as the Hart Foundation.
Oh, that's right. Piper and Niven. That's right. Piper and Green came down. That's right. They were dressed as a Heart Foundation. That's correct. That is correct. Just to fuck with Natty.
Hmm
I totally forgot about that. That's
Chelsea
right.
was dressed as Natty's uncle, and Piper was dressed as Natty's dad.
As Natty's dad. Yes. Piper the Anvil Neidhart. uh, yes, I forgot about that. But yeah, they did come down looking like that. And then, it's fun to see on Halloween what they come down as, and obviously, to further the clownage or the shade, right? To throw shade. So Chelsea Wynn got the pin over Natty, and it was, an okay match. I like Chelsea Green. Natty's okay. I don't. What did you think of the match? Anything to say?
um, Nikki Cross is weird.
Nikki, oh yes, oh yes. Thank you. I forgot about that. There was a scene where they were Piper. Who was it? Someone was getting their head bashed into the announce table, and Nikki Cross's head appeared in the announce table. All you could see was her head. So yeah.
Uh, she was underneath a jack o' lantern. Once the jack o' lantern was picked up, like she was just there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep, she did have a jack o' lantern over her head. That's right. I'm glad you're always here to remind me of the stuff that I missed, because like I watch it, but like I obviously don't retain it all. So that's right. They took the jack o' lantern off, and her head was there. Yeah, she's doing some weird shit, right? We had her as zombie, kind of zombie-ish or catatonic Nikki Cross last week on Raw, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, where she was just walking around. She walked away from the match that she was in, um, and then yeah, so I guess we'll see what ends up happening with her. But I think they're trying to obviously
I hope
continue
this is
to.
leading to something.
Right. I mean, it appears that they want it to lead to something. If not, they're spending an awful lot of time showing something that doesn't lead to anything. Um, so let's see.
Is Alexa
Uh,
Bliss coming back? Is
oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. Oh, I loved how they made a big deal about the candy corn. Sometimes you get thumbtacks, but this time you get candy corn, and how the power bomb on the candy corn was incredibly powerful, painful because the candy corn gets stale. So, okay. I thought that was kind of funny, kind of making fun of the deathmatch stuff that they do. Let's see. Of course, my thing started buffering, so I lost my. What happened next? Do you have it up there? Let's see. Do you have it on your phone?
um uh
What happened? We had Chelsea.
what did we miss
Oh,
anything?
Damian Priest and Sami Zayn. Damian Priest and
Main
Sami
event, that's all
Zayn.
that's left,
The
huh?
final. Yep, the main event of the night. Uh, you know, uh, actually, surprisingly, uh, Damian Priest was solo. Um, these two actually had a good match. Um, he didn't stay solo. He had some help late in the match from Dom and Finn, and then Jey Uso came out
Just to
to
be
help.
clear, he was by himself. He wasn't dressed as Solo Sikoa. Just
Oh yes, yes. Sorry if that was it. Let's see. Jey Uso came out to help. Jey Uso ended up getting Sami Zayn disqualified because he super kicked Damian. And then Cody Rhodes came down to make it a 3-on-3 fight. And that's basically how the show ended with these guys facing off against each other. What do you think of Damian Priest and Sami Zayn until it devolved into what it devolved into?
um, M- Mysterio with that sucker punch, almost costing Sami Zayn. The, like, kudos to him. That looked good. And they sold it well. Um, Cody Rhodes cutting the promo after. Eh. I felt like he
Eh,
left a line out somewhere in there, and it's like I don't know how you connected the first part to your promo to the second part of your promo. Like both parts sounded good, but it sounded like he was missing a middle part there that made the two parts not, make sense together.
yeah.
Like I think that there
Um,
was just a line that was in the middle of that promo that he forgot, and that part needed to be in there because I got lost going from the first half to the second half.
yeah. I thought the wrestling was really good on this episode of Raw for the most part. The
Yeah.
Creeds had a really good. I thought the Creeds and Alpha Academy were really good. I did enjoy DIY and Imperium, even though it was definitely a DIY kind of showcase. I thought it was still a good match, and I think the fact that you had two, I thought there was a third, but maybe I'm mistaken. Clearly, I'm mistaken. Two tag team matches on the same show shows that there's other people booking besides Vince, right? Because we know Vince hates tag team wrestling. So I think that's a good indicator that the script is in or the show booking is in somebody else's hands. Most likely Triple H. I assume that's what at least we're supposed to believe at the moment. And I thought that this was a better Raw than last week's Raw. Judgment Day still dominates the show heavily, 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 which I guess they should. It's other than the
Oh,
bloodline, I suppose it's their biggest story. So um, I thought it was a good go home show for Raw. I thought they did a good job of hyping up Crown Jewel. I don't normally care for the Saudi shows, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little. I I don't
uh, you
think there's what.
you said that, and it reminded me. I don't know if it was like Wrestle Talk or Steven Larson or who it was, but somebody had mentioned something in the booking like 5 years ago,
Uh
and it was just like, oh, I'm actually really glad that Triple H is booking now because like this isn't a thing anymore.
right. Yeah, I mean, I don't honestly think that LA Knight's gonna beat Roman Reigns, but I think it should be a fun match. And I do think there's a really good chance that Drew wins against Seth. So I'm kind of interested in this Crown Jewel. Um, More than I have been in the past, and I thought Raw did a good job of kind of building up to it more. It was a good go home show. What
The
do you think
title
of it
I think is
overall?
most likely to change hands is Rey Mysterio Logan Paul.
I agree. I agree with
The
that.
one
I'd be very surprised if Ray retains.
the one after that would be Io Sky and Bianca Belair for me.
Yeah, I could see that too. I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca won either. I think we could see
Um,
both of those things happen.
Third place, I'll give to Rollins and Drew. If Drew signed a new contract and he's going to be there another 3 years, yeah, I could see
Yeah.
them giving it to him. And then last place, I'm giving to LA Knight Roman Reigns.
Well, I think if Drew signed the contract for me, he goes to the top of the pile as the person that has the most chance of winning, and then probably Logan for me, and then what you said, Bianca, and obviously Roman's at the bottom. Roman's not losing, but I do think LA Knight could give him a good match. I mean, it could be fun.
Hmm.
We'll have to see. So that's the end of Raw for this week, and that brought us to Halloween Havoc
Night
NXT.
two.
Night 2, which I said last week, night 1 was terrible, and that on paper it looked like night 2 was going to be better. And
For
I
me, it
thought night
wasn't.
2. Oh, it wasn't really. You like night 1 better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, wow. With all things said and done, I really enjoyed night 2 a lot better. But I
Well,
guess
that's the
we'll.
thing about wrestling is that, everybody, enjoys their own things. Everybody's got their own opinions, and like I
Yeah.
don't fault you for yours. You don't fault me for mine. We enjoy what
No.
we enjoy.
Right. I do. I guess I find it interesting when we're on opposite sides of the spectrum. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's interesting to me. Like, I wonder to myself, when people say, "Oh, well, one was better than the other," I think, did I miss something? Am I not assessing it properly? But again, it's just opinion, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, um, but let's see, Charlotte and Scotty. Scarlett and Shotzi. Holy smokes!
Charlotte and Scottsy.
Oh wow, I butchered those. Shotzi and Scarlett continue to host week night 2 and come with fun costumes. Um, our opening match of the night was Table Ladders and Scares, the Creed
Oh
brothers
my,
versus Los Humbertos
Lotharios.
Garzas.
Los
Los
Humbertos Garzas.
Los Humbertos Garza. Um, they don't even call him Los Lotharios here. It just calls him Angel and Humberto. Uh, this was a fun match. We got to see the Creed brothers in 2 good matches on 2 successive nights. I thought they looked really good on Monday Night Raw against Alpha Academy, and they looked really good here. Both these teams looked really good. This match was fun. It was a really good way to open the show. I really enjoyed this. All 4 of these guys are amazing, in my opinion. So I liked it. I thought it worked out really well. What'd you think?
Yeah. Um. Oh, it might have been match of the night.
So, what'd you think of Shotzi and Scarlet as Ghostbusters? Did you like that costume idea?
It's fine. I mean, to be fair, like most of the costumes that Scarlet wears, like I don't actually know what she's trying to be.
uh, we got Shotzi and Scarlet again, showing off their final outfits as Pennywise from It and a Witch before Alba Fire and Eyes of Dawn took over for them, and they're going to finish hosting the rest of Night 2 of Halloween Havoc. Um, did you like Vampire performing live again?
Um, uh, New Year's Day.
Oh, it's called New Year's Day.
Yeah, Vampire's the
Oh yeah,
song.
Vampire's a song. Sorry, I apologize. Did you enjoy New Year's Day again? I know you liked them the first time, right? You said you thought it was okay the first time.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that statement. Okay.
uh, so then we had backstage Tiffany Stratton and Fallon Henley getting into it. Mackenzie Mitchell showed Tiffany Stratton a video of Fallon Henley impersonating her. Um, and then Tiffany Stratton came out. I'm sorry. Uh, yes,
Up
came
next,
out
we'll have Tiffany Stratton versus Fallon Henley.
to attack Fallon Henley. Yeah, I mean, we'll get that. Yeah, at some point at a later date. What do you think about that? Anything weird? I thought the whole thing is kind of weird.
Pro
Yes,
wrestling has more than one Tiffany Stratton.
uh, what did you think about the Joe Gacy preview or promo? It looks like he's moving on from the schism, maybe, and going to be by himself. He was alone in the preview.
Well, I mean, GYV are gone,
Gone.
gone.
So, so
I
they have to do
he could
something.
continue on with Ava Rain, but like I think Ava Ray needs to get repackaged.
I agree. I never cared for the schism for her to begin with. Um,
She got her reps in. She has a bit of experience under her belt now. Repackage her, re-debut her. I would have her probably be the winner of the next women's breakout tournament in in a year.
yeah, I can
Is
see
where
that.
I
That
would
would be a
think
good
her
spot.
in.
Definitely. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think that's a good spot for her. Um, so then we had, let's see, okay, so this is actually the very first time I've ever enjoyed Metaphor. They went into a haunted house dressed as Scooby Doo and the mystery, whatever you want to call them. And I thought this was kind of funny. They went in to get their heritage cut back from Akira Tozawa. It actually spanned over a couple segments. I thought it was kind of funny. This was the funniest that they've been to me. What would you think of
I
this? Anything?
forgot. I forgot Tozawa had a ninja army at his beck and call.
That's right. He sure does. That led into the North American Championship match. Dominic Mysterio versus Nathan Frazier. Um, you know, did I think that Nathan Frazier was going to win here? Probably not. Did I want him to win? Yes. Um, do I think again that he exposed some of the difference between guys that can really wrestle and Dominic Mysterio? Unfortunately, yeah. Nathan Frazier, I don't think is a whole lot older than Dominic Mysterio, and he's head and shoulders above him as a wrestler in the ring. Now, to be fair, Nathan Frazier looks a lot more just naturally athletic than Dominic Mysterio, which probably has a big part of it. So, I thought this was okay. Dominic, with the help of Rhea, got the win and the North American Championship. What'd you think?
It was all right. I was actually during this segment thinking, man, I haven't seen Omos in a while, so probably not the best match if that's what popped into my head.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I didn't think it was necessarily the best match. Nathan Frazier looked really good. I didn't think Dominic looked very good. They had um, the Braun Breaker versus Mr. Stone. Um, this was Braun Breaker just destroying Mr. Stone, trying to hurt him as much as he could to piss Vaughn off. This is Mr. Stone trying to stand up for his his buddy Vaughn, whose head was smashed by Braun Breaker between the steel steps. What, a month ago now, 2 months ago, however long ago it was. It's been a while now that Vaughn's been recovering. So Mr. Stone wanted a match to kind of defend Vaughn's honor and name because Braun's been talking shit while Vaughn's been out. And of course, Braun destroys Mr. Stone. And eventually, Vaughn ends up coming out with bandages still on his head. The dude's been bandaged for months now, it feels like. And yeah, they had their little melee and a little bit of a. Vaughn had Braun down. I hate the two names are so close, it's hard for me to say without getting them wrong. Vaughn had Braun's head on the stairs and was about to smash him the way that Braun smashed him, but Braun got out of the way and it missed. What'd you think of this?
I'm still waiting on the Baron von Braun triple threat. Still waiting. I want to see Baron von Braun.
Let's see. Um, and next, we had a video package of Lyra Valkyria's win over her idol and her whatever I guess mentor or whatever the person she looks idol, as I said, Becky Lynch. That was an okay package. And then we had an interview with Scripps where he basically said, I don't drink wine, I don't do none of that shit. They had me lying. My name's really Reggie. In the streets I'm Scripps. I'm really, as you said it,
Mhm.
I think you said he's from St. Louis, and he's actually got
Hmm.
a reputation, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah,
um, oh, you broke up for me for a second. What did you say?
yeah. So he used to be in a gang.
Okay.
He had kids and cleaned up his life. He joined the circus, Cirque du Soleil, and that's how he learned to do all the. He's a flippy dude, and so now he's in WWE. Trying to take care of his family the right way, not. But he's using that part of his past and using it to tell this story. So it's a story that hits close to home.
Yeah, he's done being what WWE wants him to be. He's now with Lucian and Bronco, and they reminded him kind of who he was. And so now this is the real scripts, and he's with these two, and they're out of the mud, and he's got street cred. So okay, I you know, I don't. Again, here's the thing, right? So like, and it's not they don't do this all the time, but when they do it, I think they do it a little too much, right? When they do stuff with stereotyping, they do a lot of bad stereotyping, right? So like this has all the hints of a bad stereotype, thugs that are coming into the NXT or whatever, and of course they're black guys, so let's just further perpetuate that
Well, I don't
theme,
know about the other two. I don't know about the other two. I don't know where they're from, what they're
But
about, what
that's
they
the
did,
idea. I
what
mean,
they do.
that's the air that the faction is giving off, right? I mean, they're out the mud. They're from the gutter. They're whatever. They're
Well,
badass guys.
Reggie's legitimate.
No, no, no. And I'm not saying that he's not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying WWE and wrestling likes to do this, right? When they find something,
Hmm.
they feed into every stereotype, right? And this is another one of those. Not that every black guy on the WWE roster, comes off as a gangster or hip hop or thug or any of that. But like when they do it way overboard. You know what I mean? Like, so it is what it is. I don't know. I kind of like the tag team, but we'll have to see what ends up playing out. Um, we got Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, women's tag team champions, versus JC Jane and Thea Hale for the women's tag team championship. Andre Chase and Duke Hudson came out to give support during the match.
Um,
And go ahead.
the finisher, the unpretty her.
Yes, Unpretty Her.
Like I felt like the match was so good until JC took that, and then I was like, oh, oh, because it didn't look good. It didn't look clean, and like the match
It didn't look
was
very
really
good.
good up until that point, and it's just like, oh, I'm sad that it finishes like that because like the
Yeah.
match had been so
And you
good
know
up
what?
to
I
that
think I was mistaken. We saw Piper Niven and Chelsea Green on both nights. And I think on Raw, yeah, I had forgotten that on Raw, this was the night she had. What was she dressed as on NXT here? She had some sort of face paint on that looked almost like a Joker or mouth. Do you remember what she was dressed as? What the actual?
point. Oh, I don't remember.
But I think I mentioned that as what she was when I mentioned that earlier
Yeah.
on Raw, and then you corrected me and reminded us what she was actually dressed like on Raw. This was night two. I got confused because they were on both nights. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven got the win. Um, I, you know, I kind of thought that you might see JC Jane and Thea Hale get the win here, but I understand why they didn't. Also, so okay. Isla Dawn came out as Harley Quinn and Alba Fire as
Fire
Poison
Island.
Ivy. Huh?
Fire Island.
Fire Island came out as Harley
Right.
Quinn and
That's my name for him.
as Poison Ivy. And warned them that the tag team titles are cursed. Um, and let's see. I think that just led into. I'm trying to remember it in my head too. I think that just led into the women's breakout final between Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice, which was a good match. I was honestly surprised that Lola Vice got the win here. I kind of thought Kalani Jordan would be this year's breakout champion. I'm not mad that Lola Vice got the win, and for me personally, this was the best match of the breakout tournament, and it should have been since it's the finals, I guess. So these were the two women that I thought were best positioned to actually be breakout stars right now and to do something. And so yeah, I thought this could have gone either way. Um, like I said though, I was a little surprised when Vice got the win. What do you think of this?
I was not surprised because Lola Vice has been actively wrestling for at least like half a year on NXT, and so they've got the most invested into her. She's even got a tag team slash manager, I guess, but of Elektra Lopez.
Yeah, hmm yeah. I guess it does make sense. We'll see what ends up happening to both of these women. Hopefully, they both get pushed, and the NXT women's division, is stronger for it. I could see them both wrestling Valkyria for the title at some point. They'll probably both lose in her title defense run, and I'm okay with that, depending on how the matches go. Let's see.
I think we agreed of Blair Davenport as being the one to take the title.
I agree. I do want to see ultimately Blair Davenport take the title. She's probably right now, in all reality, the best women's wrestler in NXT. We know what Brie Priestley can do, right? So
Hmm.
we'll just see if WWE lets her be Priestley. I mean, obviously, we're not gonna let her be the name, but let her be who she is and do what Brie used to do. Because she was amazing. Right now, they've kind of done a lot to kind of limit her and make her look like. I think they've done a lot to make her look like she needs to be in NXT when she doesn't. She should be up on the main roster already. Um, but this is what WWE likes to do. Everyone has to seem to make an NXT run, or have to go to NXT first. So I guess she probably shouldn't be, allowed to bypass that as well. Then
No,
we had our NXT, our main event. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like how they did Taya Valkyrie when she was there.
Yeah, yeah. Very
Like it
similar.
felt like they were holding her
Um,
down and holding her back.
yeah, they were, which is why you see she didn't stay very long. You know, so it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. If they I think Jade's a similar situation, right? Like, I don't know what they're going to do with Jade, but if they try to leave her in NXT too long, I could not. I don't know what kind of contract she signed. I don't know if it's 1 year or 5 years. I have no idea. But, it's not going to go well if they try to hold her down in NXT and keep her down. And I don't think it's going to go well if they continue to do that with B or Blair, Blair Davenport, B Priestley, whatever you want to call her. She's too talented for NXT ultimately. And I get that you want to have good people on NXT and that you want to bring more recognition to the brand and you got to have good wrestlers. And at the same time, they're both main event, main roster caliber wrestlers. They just are. We had the main event, NXT Championship, Ilya versus Carmelo 3, right? This is the third one, if I'm not mistaken. And this was much like their other ones. This was a war. Ilya doesn't have bad matches. Melo's kind of on that path at the moment too. It's been a while since he's had a bad match. These two have good
I
chemistry.
I like the
Go ahead.
Justice for Trick shirt
Yep, Justice for Trick.
that
He did.
Carmelo's
Melo
wearing.
did have a Justice for Trick shirt. Um, and let's see. Ultimately, Ilya got the win. He hit him with that the forearm, that smashing forearm on the announce table, if I'm not mistaken, which ultimately ended up leading to the win in the ring. Um, and it was a good match. Again, these two have, very good chemistry. Um, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Trick come down at the end, towards the end? Yeah, Trick came down
Yes.
towards the end. The match wasn't quite over, if I'm not mistaken, and that kind of distracted Mello. Trick waited
Hmm.
there, and then when he lost, Trick went in the ring and didn't say anything. He was looking pretty ominous at Mello and yanked Mello ultimately up off the mat and just kind of looked at him. So we don't know. The rumor, the speculation is that Mello attacked Trick 2 weeks ago now, I think, perhaps. Um, but um, we don't know that, and Mello's denied it. But Trick was looking at him like he thought maybe he was. And so there's definitely some tension and drama there to resolve. What do you think about the match and the way it all ended with Trick and Mello rounding out this NXT Halloween Havoc night two?
I dug it, but also like, how you not know who attacked you?
Yeah, well, there is some of that, right? But I guess if it's done, they're either in masks or they hit you in the back or whatever the case may be. You can't see it. I guess it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, this isn't the
I
first
said
time someone's
before I
been.
thought it was Joe Gacy. I still think it's Joe Gacy.
And I'm still here for that idea. I mean, I have no problem with it being Joe Gacy. That would be funner. I don't necessarily need it to be mellow. I mean, I think it would be interesting, and they could do a lot with it if it is mellow. There's a lot of meat on the bone there for Mello and Trick to have a little feud and backstabbing friends or whatever. At the
Well,
same time,
it feels like they're playing with that without actually doing it
yeah,
because you're having Trick think that it's mellow when it's gonna actually not be mellow,
right.
but they're
Which
able to play
works
off of that anyways.
which works good for me because I feel like again this is one of those kind of often used wrestling cliches. Oh, we're friends, and then you're jealous of me, or you think I'm holding you down, and so I attack you, and now we're, either face to face, or I turn on you and after a match or in the middle of a match, whatever the case may be. This is very common for wrestling. And so I kind of hope that they don't just go down the normal path where it is mellow and that, all of a sudden now we have a mellow trick feud. So I kind of hope that it's not like that. But I thought this was a fun main event. It's very interesting that you said that you thought that night one was better because as I'm reading the Bleacher Report overall assessment of the show, I'll tell you what they said just for kicks. And then we can compare it to what we thought. The second night of Halloween Havoc was not as monumental as night one. Interesting.
Hmm.
But it still was a good show. The action was steady, the moments were engaging, and the stakes were consistently high. Creed Brothers versus Garza and Umberto, and Ilya and Carmelo bookended a very high quality night of wrestling. They nailed the Halloween Havoc vibe. Blah blah blah. I like that they kept the stories moving forward. The title scenes are shifting into fresh matchups to keep momentum towards Deadline, which I guess is the next NXT pay per view on December 9th.
Um,
PLE
yeah. Um. Oh, what's it called? Iron Survivor Challenge.
Iron Survivor Challenge. Yeah, and Baron Corbin
Uh,
attacked
you think it's
Ilya,
gonna
right?
be the NXT dudes picking out who the competitors are gonna be?
Oh, interesting.
They well, they bring in legends. Maybe
Right,
they'll
right.
bring in Undertaker.
Oh, there you go.
Undertaker was just there a couple weeks ago. Bring him back to be one of the judges picking out the participants. I mean, Undertaker was known for being the judge in the locker room court cases.
Right, yeah, yeah. I could see that happening. No, it'll be interesting to see. I'm here for it. Um, and I'm here for Baron Corbin versus Ilya Dragunov. I think that should be fun. I think that pushes Ilya, gives him a match with a guy that's been on the main roster, at a high level main event main event level on the main roster. So that should be fun. Um, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed night two better than night one, but I thought both nights were good. I think NXT is humming along at a good pace right now. I like where NXT's at, and I thought this week of Raw was better than it has been. Um, you know, so I enjoyed this week. I thought this week was good. Anything else you want to say
I mean,
before we
it
go ahead?
was the go home show for Crown Royal.
Right?
The only thing is that I felt like a quarter of the show was recaps and packages and stuff, and it's like, man, we're gonna have to watch all these again on Saturday.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yep, they're going to beat the packages into the ground for sure. We've already seen them for a couple weeks already, and then we saw them again this Monday, and we'll see them again in the half hour lead up to each match at Crown Royal, right? So, and in between the matches, they'll show them too. So, yeah, no, I mean it's brutal. I mean, hopefully maybe they'll have a couple new packages at minimum. I mean, if you're gonna do packages for the same matches, at least try to do some new packages so we're not forced to, if you're an actual wrestling fan that watches all of the content, you don't see the exact same packages on Monday night that you see on Sunday or on Saturday at Crown Royal. That would suck. So we know
oh,
it's
I'm
actually
pretty sure
Crown
it's gonna be
Jewel
the same
people.
ones. I'm pretty sure that's how they do it.
um, so I'll have to pay
Uh,
attention and see so we can talk shit on the next knot if they do.
Speaking of Saturday, are you
Yeah.
going to be hosting for the kickoff pre-show?
Kickoff pre-show. That I don't know. I was planning on starting at 10 at the normal show time. That was my plan. Usually they don't do a whole lot on the pre-show. Is there actually a match on this year's pre-show?
Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough.
Oh, well, but the pre-show's an hour, right? Jeez. Um, I don't
Is
know.
it
I have
an
to think
hour
about
or
that.
half an hour?
If it's a half an hour, I'll do it. If it's an hour, I'm in debate because the match isn't going to take an hour, and I can't listen to Sam Robertson and them talk for half an hour doing nothing, along with all the talking that's going to the video package that's going to happen during the show. So, if it's a half an hour, yes, we'll be here. If it's an hour, no, we'll just tell you who won the match between Sammy and
Then start
AJ.
at the
But
normal time.
as far as the normal time. But yeah, we'll let you guys know. Stay tuned. Make sure you hit that bell to be notified. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can be alerted. We'll give you guys fair warning as to when we're going to start the show. We'll also talk about it on Friday night. We'll have a decision by Friday night what time we're going to start the show on Saturday, as well as give our predictions on Friday night. Sammy won't be there, so he'll have to give his predictions directly through another way, but you'll get mine and CM, I believe, and Anika's on Friday for Crown Jewel, Crown Royal, Saudi Blood
Uh,
Money, whatever you want to call it.
I went through my predictions at the start of the show when you were off.
Oh, okay. All right. You want to run down them real
But
quick and then we'll end the show?
uh, yeah, let me just
I
pull
mean,
them
you don't
all
have to if
back
you
up
don't want
because
to. I'll
otherwise I'm
see them
gonna.
again when you send them in
No, no, no,
Discord or
no, no.
whatever.
I, I'll just look it up real quick. I'm already on the page.
I mean, I had
Boom,
planned
there
for
it
us
is.
to kind of review Crown Jewel because there won't be another um, other than Friday night when we watch SmackDown, there won't be really another medium. We won't do a review show on its own. So I thought this would be the spot to kind of review Crown Jewel. But obviously, you did that when I couldn't get online in the beginning. So I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time redoing it now. But
So I'd like to say that Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. I only see Damian Priest losing if he's also cashing in the same night.
he has, for the first time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, first time since he won that, he actually has two world champions at the same event where he could potentially cash in on either one. So it does make it a little interesting. I'd be very surprised if he cashed in on Roman Reigns, but that would be the fun one, right? Like if all of a sudden he decided to cash in on Roman Reigns, that'd be a lot of fun. Um,
And I feel like it's either got to be here or it's got to be at Survivor Series because, like, when you going to be cashing in then?
Yeah, and again, we talked about this, right? I don't like the way they stretch this out. I do think that the farther and farther you get away from winning the briefcase before you cash it in, the less importance it feels like it has. I think just over time, it just kind of diminishes. It's like okay, especially the more often you come down to the ring and do stuff like you did on Monday night, where we're pretty convinced he's just there to fuck with whatchamacallit, but at the same time, you know, he's almost implying he's got a ref with him in the briefcase that he's gonna cash it in. And when you do that too many times, that on top of the amount of times since he has won it, it just diminishes the impact of it, in my opinion. I mean, by the time he finally does it, it's like, finally, fuck, let's go, like all right, you should have done this already 5 times ago when you hinted about doing it, like so. I don't know.
Um,
But I think Seth is losing. So I think Drew's winning. I think Roman's winning, and he's going to have to choose between those two. It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't cash it in here.
Um, are we doing the pre-show? Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough?
I don't know, like I just said. Oh, as far as picks go, I
Yeah.
believe so. Let me check Discord real quick because Dolores did put the matches up, so that we're going to be for the. So let's see real quick. A dooba 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 doo. Um, General. She has no. She doesn't have Sami Zayn on here, so I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, just in case, I'll go with Sami Zayn.
Yep.
Um, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. I'll go with Seth Rollins, but then Damien cashing in on him.
Okay.
There's a little caveat. So I think that's where I'd
Right.
go. So for Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest, I'll go with Cody Rhodes because Damian Priest will be getting the cash in
Okay.
the same night. So even though he lost the one match, he leaves as world champion.
All right.
That seems like WWE booking to me. I'll go with Rhea Ripley,
Yep.
Roman Reigns, John Cena.
Yep.
All right, and then
And Logan
last
Paul or
two
Rey
matches.
Mysterio.
I'll go Logan Paul.
Oh yes. And then Bianca or Io.
This one's really tough for me. I'll go with EO, but I'm very uncertain about that. I think that two title changes is enough. Logan Paul being champion and Damian Priest being champion at the end of the night.
Interesting. So those are very good predictions. We'll see how they tally up. We will talk about the results and the fallout from Crown Jewel next week on NawT. Remember, we are now
Yeah.
live again on Tuesday nights. So Wednesday nights, I
How
apologize. Today is
many
Wednesday.
how
So
many pay-per-views we watch where there's no title changes at all?
yeah, there's
Like
often there's no
I
title
feel
changes.
like
Yeah,
only having two title changes on my predictions is probably too much. Like it's probably only going to be one.
yeah, it probably will only be one. Um, but we'll have to see. It's very interesting. We'll have to see what Damian Priest ends up doing. That to me is a caveat because I don't see Roman losing. I could see Ray lose. Rhea's not losing. The only one that I viably see right now, I think I think Drew has the best chance of winning a title at Crown Jewel as of right now. But we'll see. I mean, we'll end up seeing.
The
So
Cody match is going to go directly to the booking of Survivor Series. Like I'm imagining you're going to have Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens. That's what I'm thinking.
okay, yeah, I can see that. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. All right. Anything else you want to say before we sign off for the night?
Mm, not mares for life.
Yes. Real quick, I'll just give the quick schedule. We are live on Monday night starting next week with Seeing Stars, which is back with Dolores and Jay News. That's live on Monday nights. Then on Tuesday nights, we're live for the Cookout, which is at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Then Wednesdays we are live for All for Naught, 7:15 p.m. Pacific, 10:15 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we are live for Aftermath of Dynamite, 7:15 p.m. Pacific, 10:15 Eastern. Friday night, we are here for Friday Night Fights. This week, we've got 4 shows. We've got SmackDown, Rampage, a GCW show. I think it's called Please Something, and Impact pay per view that we're going to be watching all at the same time. Then Saturday this week, we have Crown Jewel in the morning. Plus, you'll also get Under the Radar at, I think it's 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Are
And then
you doing
Saturday,
GCW?
yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to watch it at the same time. It's all on at the same time. So I figure I'll have
Okay.
Nico watch SmackDown and Rampage, and I'll watch GCW and Impact or however
So
we want to
check
split it
it.
up.
Y'all are getting ALW on Friday and on Saturday for Under the
Correct.
Radar, for Crown Royal, and for Saturday night is All Right.
That's right. A heavy
So
dose of ALW this weekend.
enjoy getting your fix because you ain't going to be seeing him do that anymore.
Nope. This will be my last big weekend. I think after this weekend, I'm off on Fridays and Saturday nights indefinitely until the schedule changes again. So until next time, nightmares for life. Peace.